Hey traders, Raghee here, and in this recap video we're going to cover the S&P again because it doesn't work like clockwork, but it sure does seem to at the moment, and that is the way in which the S&P on the daily keeps, trading up into this zone here between the 34 EMA on the low, the 34 EMA on the close, and just the Darvis resistance that also exists in that zone. We continue to correct what is an overall downtrend. This is not a perfect downtrend. I know a perfect downtrend, and they happen sometimes, but a perfect downtrend would accompany the propulsion dots. A perfect downtrend would accompany the consistent red grab candles. We wouldn't have those blue grab candles in the mix. So that would be a perfect one. And you can wait for perfection, but at the same time, you could also look for opportunities to play the weakness. Now, if your trust, because of those blue grab candles, is low, and I don't think that's a bad idea to have low trust on a market where we have a little bit more of a neutral sentiment working its way into an overall bearish market, what do you do instead? What we've been doing for the past couple of closes. We focus on a 5, 15, 30, or 60-minute time frame. These are more short-term oriented time frames that are able to, with a little bit more accuracy, give us a zone where we would expect the selling pressure to come in. And then I can look for nuanced entries like a minor high or a test of a 2660 area at a particular time of day, those kinds of things, and look for the opportunity to ultimately get short. The trickiest part about today's test of 2660 was the time. That was really the difficult thing here. When the market actually traded up into the 2660 area, because it happened in a span of time that I typically do not like to trade, and that's between 11:30 and 1:30 Eastern. So then, what we'll do is we'll focus on the close, and we'll focus on the way in which the 5, the 3, the 2, and the 1 minute time frames trade into the close. And this is really about, if there's no clarity on the short term, there's two reasons you might think about a short term time frame. And they have a lot to do with the auto chartist. Now, I haven't brought up this auto chartist tool a lot recently, but I think it's a really good time to do it now. Because if your risk tolerance is something more along the lines of, say, 11 to 17 points, you're going to be looking at a time frame like the 60-minute or less, because you're going to be looking for this kind of price movement in here. Now, if you have a higher price movement range tolerance, and some of you do, and you like trading daily time frames, your expectation for price movement is very different. One of the challenges that traders have when they're looking at different types of setups across different time frames is that they're not aligned with the potential price movement range that would accompany, say, a daily time frame or a 480-minute time frame versus, say, a 30-minute time frame or a 5. The time frame difference between these two is a giant chasm. It's very different. And because you're more aligned to 17 to 11 points, while here I'm more aligned to 32 to possibly 45 points on the longer term. And if you're not calibrated for this, and if you don't understand how to read this kind of price movement range, it's going to be very difficult to day trade. It's going to be equally as difficult to find opportunities on longer term time frames with the proper type of stop loss and profit target. So this is a quick look at the way I'm trading the S&P. I'm still very bearish. I'm still looking for the downside. And I think the biggest thing is, if you want to play intraday, it's really a reflection of the kind of price movement tolerance you have. If you're willing to play the end of day, the daily time frames, you're really more comfortable with that upper end of price movement range. And equally, you want that type of profit target. So keep that in mind the next time you're choosing a time frame. and also when you're choosing the specific trades that are available to you across multiple time frames like I look at every day. See you in the next update.